What up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of BOP. This is your boy AD coming in hot and fresh. Got my man Jules in the building, St. John. What's up, fellas?
What's going on?
And we got a special guest. Special guest. Y'all know him from Texas Twitter. Bishop in the building. What up, Bishop?
What's going on, AD? What's up going on, Jules?
What's up, brother? We good?
Yeah, everybody good. We got to talk about it. Houston Texans took the L against the Dallas Cowboys, 27-24. The game that nobody expected to happen. The type of game nobody expected to happen. Close game. Texans had the lead. Really, most of the game. Led most of the game, and do what they always done this whole season and shit the bed. So. Let's talk about that good old Cowboys L we took.
Go ahead, Bishop. Let's start off. I know you won that. I know you won that win. So I'm gonna let you have the first conversation.
I wanted this win. I felt I got family that's Cowboys game fans, and I really wanted this Cowboys game, man. Going into the game, how we played up to the third quarter, I was like, it's possible. We can possibly sneak this out, right? But a couple play calls, you know how we do play calls at the end zone and red zone, and in the fourth quarter kind of messed us up. So another Texas loss. That's really what it is, man.
But like I said, we ran into the 2 QB system that shocked everybody from the go. How often or how long do you think that's actually going to work when a gimmick offense is going against a powerhouse team? When, like I was saying, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterback.
Man, like Kevin Gates, we got two QBs, one for the run and one for the pass. So we gotta do. Hey, I've been a proponent of, at this point, like after the first 4 or 5 games, I'm like, I don't give a damn what kind of offense you running, as long as you able to move the ball, especially after the first few weeks, and we saw what the hell was going on. Nah, I need something. Give me anything. Do anything. Pull rabbits out your hat. Do anything, man. Just find something to make something work instead of just stalling out 3 and out.
I mean, it was the best offense display this whole season. How much I hated it. It was the best offense I've seen all season from the Texans team.
Where has this creativity been this whole time?
What creativity?
Why did it take for what is it? What week was that? Why did it take
14? I think.
Why did it take week 14 for us to get? Hey, you know what? We probably need to be creative. That might work.
But Bishop, you can't win real games like that. It's not a real offense.
I know you can't, but at the same time, I'm saying, what made them want to say, hey, you know what? We're gonna be creative this week. Out of all the weeks, we're gonna be creative this week.
The rivalry game, that Texas rivalry, we got to bring home the bragging rights. And just like it looked like we played inspired against Cleveland for the first quarter and a half, and then reality sets in.
Nick went to the locker room and said, "It's 3 games. I need y'all to at least show half-ass effort. The Cleveland, Dallas, maybe Kansas City." And one more Tennessee. But other than games, I don't care what I do. We trying to take for the number 1 pick. We know we're going to have the number 1 pick. We know we got a bad roster. But I need y'all to show up for the Houston fans. It's not the Texas fan, for the Houston fans. It's for the bishops of the world. That this guy look good against Dallas.
Man, to be honest with you, man, looking at it, we ain't winning no more games after this, man. This was the closest attempt we had to win the game, and I don't see us winning another game. That's just me, man.
And like I said, when we did it with not having our number 1 pick of last year with Darius Stingley, we had an injured Kenyon Green who was injured through most of the game. Number 1 receiver or number one receiver on the books, but number 2 on the roster, he should be a number 2 receiver, was out. I mean, we did all this with a scrappy bunch, and they played. To me, I still think it's Dallas Cowboys played down to the competition. I'm not taking away from the effort that we did. I'm not taking efforts when Mills had a couple of good passes. Jeff Vick, he did some things when he ran the ball a little well. The defense played hard against a overpowering offense. But when it comes down to it, we are 10-1 at that time. They played down to their opponent, and they almost got caught. They almost got caught when it's time to come up and play. And actually, hey, we can't lose this game. They draw down field and scored. It was easy for them. So I not to take away the effort of this guy. We gotta understand that they weren't gonna lose this game.
Yeah. I mean, that was expected. I mean, you get your hopes up because they actually put themselves in position. Oh my God. They actually put themselves in position. I'm sorry, man. We taping this during the live for the damn Minnesota Indianapolis game, and Dalvin Cook just ran a screen pass for like 70 yards for a touchdown. But anyways, but
what's the score? Because
anyways,
that actually affects us.
yeah, I mean, right now it looks like Minnesota. If they go for 2, they tie the game, and with two
So
minutes left.
if Minnesota wins, I mean if Minnesota wins, that puts the Colts back to where they're at on the draft slot, which is above us. For those who want a defensive player first and maybe a quarterback in the second first round pick, because the Colts definitely gonna get a quarterback. So it puts us behind them for any Will Levis, Hooker, Anthony Richardson, all that situation.
Well, it puts them. It may raise their draft position, but I mean, Arizona and everybody else got to play, so they still may be where they at. But
if they win, it's a holding ball game. That's what we need.
Yeah, and Minnesota just tied it up too. So
anyway, back on the game. Back on Texas.
Let's get back on topic, man. Let's get back on topic. I'm sorry, fan. People out there, man. I'm sorry, y'all. You know, when you're a football fan, you watch all games. You get engaged with different stuff. So, I mean, we can talk about Jackson State taking the L today too.
I was just about to say, what you talking about football, man? I was just watching the Jackson State game, and I was like, man.
Hey, that tight end thought he was gonna transfer to Colorado, and he dropped that touchdown.
You're done. You're staying right here, son.
And Dion was crying. Dion was crying. Let's not say he wasn't crying. He was crying.
Oh no, he was definitely acting.
Yeah,
so acting. But it's cool. I respect it. That narrative that I try to push, pertaining to tight ends, that guy. He's not making the cut. He's not making the cut.
We we got that kind of quarterback you want on the roster already? TQ.
Ah man.
Then he bought that number 2. He was 84.
TQ ain't dropping passes though. Hey man.
TQ ain't getting the ball thrown to him, even dropping
Exactly.
But back on topic, man. Let's talk about. We talked about the 2 QB system. The Texans are gonna run it back with the 2 QBs, Jeff Driscoll and Davis Mills. You know, one for the run and one for the pass. It's gonna be, you know, I mean, at this point, it is what it is. They're gonna probably run this the rest of the season. You know, and I feel like this tactic was something that Pep Hamilton needed to do to kind of at least preserve his job. Because if he would have ran out there and had the same offensive performance against Dallas that he did against the Cleveland Browns, man, Monday he would have been fired.
I mean, like I say, it's good for a rap song, one for the pass, one for the run, but for NFL offense system, it's horrible. But we got to do what we got to do. We got to at least show face that we can actually put together a good game plan and go forward and make somebody work on defense a little bit. So, hey, if it works, it works. If it don't, hey, at least he trying something. Yeah. Pep and Love can go at this point. I don't care what they do.
It looks like high school football, like it just looks mediocre, man. Like right. I understand, but this is crazy. This is the most explosive we've been so far.
Right?
Yeah. So, and that's the crazy thing about it, man. It's just I honestly don't know how long this game plan, the way that they have it, is gonna go. Like Kansas City, how good is Kansas City defense?
I mean, because Dallas has the number 5 ranked defense.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, at the end of the day, Kansas City could have the second to worst defense, and it ain't gonna make no difference. The Houston Texans is just that bad on offense. With no now, we can talk about the injuries with no Damian Pierce. With no, they released Eno Benjamin. The Kenyon Green is out.
His backup's out.
Cooks and Collins are out again. So I mean, you down to the scraps of practice squad players. You elevating practice squad players to play now. So I mean, we at this point of the season now where it's like we shutting it down basically.
Mm-hmm. Tank 2003. I mean 2020. What we doing? Tank.
Mm-hmm.
Secure number 1 pick to get a quarterback, right? You don't tank for Carter. You don't take for Will Anderson. You take for a quarterback. Let's be honest with the situation.
All right, we tanking for Levis, man.
Hey, hey, don't get me excited.
I'm pushing that narrative now, man. I like what I see, man.
So let's talk about, since we're talking about the draft, let's talk about the draft just a little bit, and then we'll go on into this Kansas City Chiefs game. Right now in Tankathon, Houston Texans are holding strong with their number 1 overall pick. And with the Cleveland loss to the Cincinnati Bengals, we're still at 12.
Right.
So we got the picks 1 and 12, and then number 2 through 10 is Denver. Well, not Denver, it's Seattle, because they got the Denver pick. So Seattle, Chicago, Detroit, Philadelphia, Arizona, the Colts, Las Vegas Raiders, Carolina Panthers, and then Atlanta Falcons. All them damn birds in Atlanta. Atlanta Falcons round out the top 10. What are y'all thoughts on this draft order? Because now, to me, it's kind of signifying that after a quarterback goes 1, it's a free fall, within that top 10. Because, I mean, Detroit kind of solidified themselves, said they want to run it back with Goff. Seattle said they trying to give Geno a contract extension. Mm-hmm. You got the Colts at 7. I mean, Kyler Murray just tore his ACL. Arizona, could they surprise and draft a quarterback at number 6?
Nah, they get that boy that too much money to get a quarterback.
I brought it up on the space last night. It's not out of the realm of possibility that they draft a quarterback and trade Kyler Murray. It's not out of the realm of possibility.
It's out of the possibility. There's no way.
It's not, because especially if you get rid of Cliff Kingsbury and if they fire the GM. So if the GM and Cliff Kingsbury gone, I mean, hey, it's a possibility that whoever comes in say Kyler ain't my guy, get him out of here. It's a possibility that what could happen,
And once again, this is why I question why you even sign Kyler for extension a year
they
before
didn't sign the GM and the coach that will probably no longer be there signed him to that contract.
But ownership still had to sign up on it. That's why I've always said I wanted a ownership that has some kind of football knowledge. He ain't got to be all guts goer and Art Rooney that knows the football Rambo situation, but knows some football common sense. Yeah. That means there's no way you get rid of Kyle Murray after you get this man a guaranteed contract, and you gave Cliff Kingsbury a sign of relief that he's going to be back next year. I mean, just you can't replace all of them after a year. You sign a big quarterback. You just can't do it.
Hey, we just said that with Deshaun Watson, and what happened? He got traded.
I mean, that was
there was some circumstances about this.
Hey, right, what's Kyler Murray's circumstance? He got a torn ACL.
It's nothing near what Deshaun had going on.
You know what I'm saying? Now, if you say next year they go 0-5, and
they sit Kyler for a year, like we said Deshaun for a year, and they turn around and trade Kyler Murray.
Hey, that's never going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
That's just my theory that I'm throwing out there. I'm gonna keep it at that.
Well, back to the draft. I think after we pick, if it's going to be a quarterback, whoever it is, that next 6 or 7 picks can go anywhere, because most of the teams have double picks.
Yeah.
So they can just go best player available, or they can reach for players because they don't need those kind of players. And then the teams that they actually are winning, they have, like say Denver gets Seattle. Seattle's actually still in the hunt for a playoff spot, and the Eagles, number one team in the league right now, can go. They can draft at the very bottom, the very top, so they can just whatever say, hey man, I want to go be up Bijan Robinson. I know I don't need him. I know it's a luxury pick for me, but I got another pick right behind me, so I can do what I want to do. So those 4 or 5 picks after the one can go anywhere. You have no idea where the draft's gonna go.
And that's what I'm saying. After 1, you're talking about the next team that would be drafting a quarterback would be the Colts at number 7.
Right.
So then you go from 7. The Raiders, do they stick with Derek Carr? Do they not? I mean, it's kind of in flux. Then Carolina, they're going to go for a quarterback. So you're talking about, it kind of the drop down kind of goes down, and I don't see teams trading crazy picks up to get into the top 10, top 5 to get another quarterback.
So you don't see C.J. Stroud or Will Levis or
one of those. AR. So whoever is drafted number 1 overall, the next quarterback better be prepared to be sitting there for about a good 30 to 45 minutes to an hour before they get picked. They may be at the bottom, the top 10 or right outside the top 10.
I can see Carolina trading up.
Why though?
Why? Why? At the end of the day, you don't get Bryce, but if you don't get C.J. Stroud, you get Will Levis.
And then you got old boy from Florida?
Anthony Richardson. You got Anthony Richardson too. So we
all know quarterbacks are overdrafted. Slot positions. Only last year is when teams actually had common sense and not drafted a lot of these quarterbacks last year. But every year in the last 25 years, quarterbacks who were drafted too early for their draft slot and situation always draft too early. Because I can argue, and I've argued with people all the time, I don't think Zach Wilson and Trey Lance should have been first-round picks.
Hell no. Everybody should have learned their lesson from Carson Wentz. Don't draft no quarterback from North Dakota State. Like, that should have been your number 1 rule at that point in time, especially after he, fell off completely off the wagon. And to be honest, Trey Lance and Carson Wentz, damn near the same type of quarterback.
Right, yeah. and you know how I feel about Mills. I think Mills should have been drafted the first place. But that's just my personal opinion about Mills.
I'm still confused on why San Francisco drafted Trey Lance in the first place, bro. Like I honestly feel like that was just an unnecessary pick. Jimmy G, he got him to the Super Bowl. He did what he's not going to throw crazy numbers in the game. That's not going to be Jimmy G. You got all these playmakers y'all have, especially now with their offense now. Like, you need a game manager. You don't need Tom Brady.
No, you don't.
You don't need Aaron Rodgers. You need a dude that can just sit there, hand the ball off, throw that little first down every time you need a first down, and keep it moving.
All right, so here's my question to you.
Yeah.
Can Jimmy G go on a shootout versus Tom Brady?
Absolutely.
Can he go on a shootout against Pat Mahomes,
Absolutely.
Joe Burrow, Josh Allen?
Absolutely not. No.
That's why you get a guy who can win a shootout, because those are guys.
I understand that, but at the same time, when your team is built the way it is, bro, like, you're good. You need to understand your team. You don't. Right. Not every team needs that.
Every team does need the Super Bowl because they won Super Bowl. They won Super Bowl, right, against Tampa Bay, right? And no, not Tampa Bay. It was who did Tampa Bay get Super Bowl with a couple years ago? Kansas City, and got mollywopped. Did they not? I
mean that's true, but that's Pat Mahomes,
right? And then okay, and so here we go. Every time San Francisco gets the playoffs, like every other year, right? Yeah. They go to the third round, the second round, division championship, and what happens to them? They get against a high octane quarterback. They lose.
I mean, but is Trey Lance that guy?
That's why you try to figure out, because they know they got Jimmy. So now you've warned me that you want Jimmy G to come to Houston.
I have not pushed that narrative.
Okay, I'm just making sure, because Jimmy G is limited.
We need a gunslinger. We need somebody that's gonna throw that thing. So
Why
down.
you surprised that San
San
Francisco
Francisco, they good.
traded
They
for a
don't need
gunslinger?
that, though.
Because you see what he did last 4 or 5 years. He can get you so far, but he can't take over top. Because what he got faced Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Pat Mahomes. Those 3 quarterbacks in AFC, if he goes to make Super Bowl, those 3 quarterbacks are most likely going to make Super Bowl.
But
You think he can outplay those?
if you look at those teams, match up the teams. Look at the wide receiver core that he has, or tight ends that he has. Look at his running backs. Look at
Right.
CMC now. Like all those pieces, you don't need that guy to be. You don't need. Go ahead, go AD. My bad.
No, I just got some breaking news. Go ahead and finish your statement. I got the breaking news in a minute. Go ahead.
I'm just saying you don't need all that, especially for that team. But no, I get what you're saying. I feel what you're saying.
But you see what happened when you make shift a receiver to weapon. Now Deebo Samuel's out for the year. Because your quarterback is limited on what he can do. He just can't be receiver. He has to be a running back / receiver / Cordell Stewart because your quarterback play is so adequate, but it's not dynamic. So you making your playmakers do more than they should do.
That's true. Yeah,
He got the soundboard now.
somebody fired.
All right. So breaking news: the Houston Texans have made some transactions. Man, they made some transactions for this game against the Chiefs. They've activated from injury reserve Jonathan Grenard. He's gonna play on Sunday. Damian Pierce, Taylor Stallworth, and Derek Stingley have been placed on injury reserve, ending their season.
They're done.
They're done.
Tank
So
2023.
You knew that.
Complete.
So that is the news that just dropped down from the Houston Texans website that they are basically, Derek Stingley. I knew that Derek Stingley wasn't going to play. When he missed that first game in the hamstring, he ain't coming back. Back. They saving him. So basically, I think Derek Stingley missed half the season. Almost. He played, 9 games?
He played his fair share. I was surprised seeing as much he played though.
Yeah. And then it doesn't help that it's another leg injury.
Right.
First one was the foot. This one the hamstring. So hopefully he can kind of correct that and avoid leg injuries in the future. Damian Pierce with the ankle injury, high ankle sprain, got him out for the season. And Taylor Stallworth, who had a hell of a game against Dallas,
right? He did.
Who's really showed some promise in that game. He's out for the season with a calf injury. So we're gonna figure all that out, man, going forward. But
they might well shut down Green too.
3 more games.
Yeah,
might as well just tell the starters to chill out, man.
Yeah, I mean, I can see Kenyon Green probably getting shut down. He's not playing this game, so I mean, it's only 3 more after that.
Right. And only reason Tunsil and Howard playing because their
contract
bonuses and money situation, and Howard's trying to get another contract, so that's why they Tunsil
also trying to get another one too. So, other than that, let's move on, man. Let's move on. We talked about the draft. We talked about draft position. What are y'all thoughts going into this Chiefs game? And then, because we're going to go into the coaching and everything after we break down this Chiefs game. We're going to talk about, Lovie Smith and Pip Hamilton's future. And then, Bishop, I'm going to let you have the floor to end the episode.
So, Justin Reed revenge game, that's what we call it?
Oh, Justin Reed, yeah. Okay.
Come back to H-Town because he felt we didn't give him a big contract. We didn't respect him, his play, and the reason why he's not as great as he should be because we didn't know what we were doing with him. We didn't know how to position him right. That's just maybe come back now.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, he did.
All right. All right. Play the tape. Hey. That's why he didn't come back, son.
That's how you feel, brother. That's how you feel.
He didn't say it he didn't say it direct like that, but read between the lines in the last couple of years, how he was always mismanaged and all that stuff. He said a lot without saying a lot.
Mm-hmm. Well, the tape says everything I need to see.
Yeah. So
He ain't it. He ain't got it.
He ain't it. You nah.
so we gonna see next game on come Sunday. We're gonna see the 2 quarterback system because we have one quarterback on the roster. Um, I guess Darrell gonna get lots lot more carries.
Yeah, but
Burke,
they signed Dokes, so Dokes may see some action too. It's gonna
oh
be the
hell,
It's gonna be the Burkhead show. You might as well
yeah.
get ready for that.
We didn't see Benjamin all the two snaps yesterday. And they canceled. They waived him, so ain't like they gonna trust anybody but Burkhead to run the ball if Pearson's not in the game. So,
Mm-hmm.
I don't see. I don't think Kansas City gonna do the same thing that Dallas did. Take this boy lightly because every time somebody take it lightly, we put on a good show for a while, and I think they still trying to be the number one team in football, so they can't afford a loss to us. So I think it's gonna be it's not gonna be as good a game as was against Dallas Cowboys. So I think they're gonna really blow us out the first couple quarters and coast the rest of the way.
Oh yeah, this game is gonna be nasty, man.
Patrick Mahomes gonna be on the sideline eating a hot
Halftime.
dog.
That's halftime. He ain't coming in the third quarter. Get ready.
I'm
That's
trying to see who the Kansas City backup quarterback is, so I can't figure out who we really gonna be watching on Sunday.
man.
Right,
That
because
dude gonna be wiping his nose, doing all that type stuff on us, man.
because I think the Chargers and I believe the Raiders are still fighting for a playoff spot, and they still have to play them the next 3-4 games. So
Yeah.
they can't waste time with us and get injured for a team that's not fighting for anything. So they're gonna like they said, if you coach or you play football early, a team that's not as good as you are, you put them you score quick and you put them down early and you coach the rest of the way so you don't get your guys hurt.
Yeah, I think they not gonna take us lightly because that's not an Andy Reid type of team. That's not how he operates.
Right.
He's gonna come in prepared. I think by the second quarter the game gonna be over.
Right.
Yeah.
And everybody gonna know what's gonna happen. I think Miko Hardman gonna go off. I think Tony may have a decent game if he's playing. Juju Smith-Schuster gonna have a game. Kelsey gonna have about 200 yards receiving with about 3 touchdowns. I mean, it's gonna be they gonna throw the ball all over the field. What's his name? Pancho. What's his name?
Pancho.
I wanna call him Pancho.
Yeah, I thought you would call
I
him Pancho.
want to call him Pancho, man. Hey, he gonna run for about 120 yards. I mean, it's about to be, it's gonna be bad, man.
That's one thing that Dallas didn't do that they should have done. They should
they didn't run
displayed
the ball.
our coverage in the mid coverage that you have a tight end. Schultz actually can play very well.
Mm-hmm.
The tight end game should have been well developed and well central point on the offense. Yeah. We know now it's argues everybody in spaces. To me, that the wide receiver choice number one for Kansas City is always being Kelsey.
Yeah,
Hill was the big play receiver, but their number one go to guy was always been Kelsey. So Kelsey can kill you in any type of way. So we got nobody that can cover Kelsey.
Nope,
absolutely nobody.
I mean, they can try to put Petrie. They can try to do a mix of Petrie and Christian Harris, but I can already see Christian Kirksey trying to cover.
Oh, Kirksey don't do
it. So
you're gonna be running around in circles. You already know.
Oh, let me not forget. I didn't mention him when we talking about the injury. Steven Nelson is out too.
Right.
So your outside corners are gonna be return man, Tremont Smith, Desmond King, and doggone what's his name? Damn, you said Tavia Thomas.
And King. Desmond King, right?
Tavier's gonna play the slot, but your outside corners are gonna be Tremont Smith and Desmond King.
Okay, and you asking 2 rookies to cover the best tight end in the game, right? That's what we're doing, right?
That's what we added to see at this point in the season. Yeah. I'm not even gonna go about score prediction. We're gonna go ahead and say this is a L, a big L. We're gonna end this be coming in the week 16, 1, 12-1. So, it is what it is. With all that being said, record like that, you got to move on from the coach. You can't keep the same coach. Can't keep the status quo. I talked about this in the episode before. We were on these spaces. I was listening to these spaces, and these people were really arguing and really trying to debate and make you think that keeping the status quo would be the way to go if you go 115-1.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no way in hell you gonna keep everybody there and say let's just run this back with
Keep
one
Mills
draft,
to them.
2 draft picks.
Keep Mills to them. We're gonna run it back. Keep
We're gonna
run
run
back
it
the
back.
whole situation.
Exactly. Run it back, man. We mill sites today.
Hell no. Get that shit off my screen. I don't want to see that no more. No more
I'm just
ever.
saying,
I
if
need
you're
to
gonna
see
bring
Davis
Lovey back,
Mills. Next
you're gonna
time I
be Pep back.
see Davis Mills with a helmet on as a starter is in a preseason game. I need him as his new helmet to be that baseball cap with the clipboard as his accessory.
I wouldn't mind if Davis Mills go try to be a coach or something, man. Go be a QB coach. Go be a coach.
Go
be
to
an
Josh
assistant,
McCown
man.
route and go coach high school football.
Yeah, man. We'll get you back to the league eventually.
But
I
no,
mean,
man.
but here's my point. If we get rid of, if they get rid of Lovie Smith and Pep Hamilton, which we all agree they should, how much confidence do we have in Nick Casario actually drafting or sign the guy that he wants to go forward and that's going to be here for 4 or 5 years? Because everybody keeps saying, well, few people saying that he has 2 coaches in him. Only way you get 2 more coaches if you're winning for 10 years and you've been GM and you're retired, your coach quits or retire, then you have. If he doesn't win if his next coach doesn't win, he doesn't get another hire. If he does, then we are the most retarded sports franchise, not just NFL franchise, sports franchise ever existed. If his man can hire 2 more coaches and not have one winning season under his helm. So how much confidence do we have that he actually going to draft the guy or sign the guy that he really wants?
Hey, you seen the picture at the Rockets game? You seen Rick Smith? We just waiting on this man to fumble one more time, and Rick Smith gonna slide back in like an old boyfriend, bro. He just like that ex that dating this chick, man, and she telling you ain't got to worry about him and all that type of stuff. Next thing you know, she back with him, man. So go ahead, get ready, guys.
But Bishop, I'm gonna tell you something, and a lot of people don't understand. They think I'm a Rick Smith apologist because they say, well, what about his 3rd, 4th round picks? I say this is my argument about Rick Smith. Rick Smith was a great 1st round pick because it's talent, right? You just pick the best talent and you fit the best talent for what team you got on. The 3rd, 4th round picks are mostly coaches' picks for what they need for their roster. So if the coaches don't pick the right players, or he try to pick in players for that roster for the coaching scheme, it doesn't work out. It's not really on the GM who pick him. He's trying to pick for the coaches.
Yeah.
And that's why to me, my biggest complaint about Rick Smith was you are a coach-friendly GM. He never ever said, these are guys I'm picking, this is what we're going to do. It wasn't his franchise. And people don't realize that Gary brought him over. So he owed Gary a lot. Now, I don't understand between him and Bill O'Brien, that situation, why he picked Bill O'Brien, because it don't seem like he's a Bill O'Brien type of guy. But the reports say that he actually wanted Bill O'Brien more than anybody else. He should do some more research, and that's on his fault. Because if it wasn't for Bill O'Brien, he'd still be the GM of the Texans right now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because he actually signed good draft picks. He actually did his 1st, 2nd round players. Even a couple of 3rd round picks did do well, but he was so coach friendly, he got in trouble with Bill O'Brien.
Well, the thing about it too is let's go back to the Rick Smith and the draft picks narrative. I mean, he didn't have bad drafts. Now, the thing about it is that some of these players may not have done great things with the Texans, but the player themselves was actually great, pretty damn good picks.
Right.
They end up having successful careers elsewhere.
Right.
Well, for me, that equates to not having bad draft. That means that the coaches just couldn't develop those players.
Right, because both coaches that he served underserved him, they have specific systems they had to run. Wade Smith specifically had a defense that he liked to run. Bill O'Brien had specific offense that never worked consistently, but he thought is the best in the world. And Gary Kubiak had a flowing offense that you had to get certain players to fit those schemes. So it's hard to find players without great talent to fit those schemes to be just to be that way. So it was really hard on any GM or any draft evaluators to find people that fit the scheme when it was not a scheme for everybody.
Yeah, yeah,
You
no,
couldn't be diverse with those kind of picks.
yeah, I totally agree. I think our offensive schemes haven't looked as well as the Gary Kubiak tenure.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've had explosive plays and things like that, but the being concise and being cohesive, uh, what he brought to the team with the zone blocking and stuff like that, that was something that was like very beneficial.
Right.
And I haven't seen our offense flow that well since he left, man. To be honest.
And it's not to be a Bill O'Brien versus Gary Kubiak conversation,
Oh yeah,
but
no.
you can tell that Gary Kubiak wanted a certain his O line they were guard. He was a right guard. He was a right tackle. Now if you had to switch them, you switch them. When Bill O'Brien was making Rick Smith pick guards and tackles at later rounds because they were versatile, he could play all five positions, which didn't work because on the ways to work in Tampa and New England because you had number 12. 12
Mm-hmm,
made it work.
Mm-hmm.
And
mm-hmm.
then the Bill Belichick coaching made it work. We never have a number 12. We never have Bill Belichick. So that whole years of drafting was just bad drafting for the GM and the coaching.
Yeah, that plug and play players in and
Well,
that flexibility stuff, man. I
Versatility.
that
yeah,
that
you
That
you can you can
versatility.
you
and
can do it when you have two dominant players on the line, or your tackle or your center or your tackle guard. When you have two dominant players, then the rest of people can pick and play. But your whole line never had a dominant player until you traded for Tunsil. And Tunsil wasn't even a finished product when we traded for him.
Man, don't get me down that whole trading for Larry Tunsil scenario because it made zero sense.
Yeah. Okay. So
Made
let's go
zero.
let's go
It
let's go forward.
made zero sense, man. Because I'm, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about it. Let's talk about it for 2 seconds. You go ahead and you say, okay, we need to address the offensive tackle position. We need a new left tackle. So what do? Let's go draft our franchise left tackle. So you go and draft your franchise left tackle in the first round, and then you backdoor and you trade 2 first round picks to go get another franchise left tackle. How redundant is that? If you're gonna start from scratch, if you're gonna build fresh, you drafted the man. Why even draft him? Draft somebody else if you knew you were gonna pull the trigger on a trade for Larry Tunsil.
And I go on better. Look at the tackles that came out after we traded Tunsil and how many
Mm-hmm.
actually are starting great starter that you could trade up a second round pick to get up instead of trying to trade 2 first round picks for a tackle.
Mm-hmm.
The science and the math don't math.
and that just come from nobody telling Bill O'Brien to relax, man. Like, bro, does this make sense? Honestly, does it make sense? No, it doesn't. But Bill O'Brien is the type of guy who knows everything.
Right.
His playbook is apparently it's one of the hardest playbooks. Why is it so difficult? It just doesn't make
Just,
sense.
Right.
just a whole bunch of word scramble, man. That's
Right.
all it is.
Come on now.
Between so okay, we're tied into our current GM. Do you see any similarities between Bill O'Brien and Nick Casario because they both wordsmiths? They both think they're the smartest people in the world. I mean, it's hard to fill a cup that's already full.
No, absolutely. I totally think Nick is the type of guy that looks like he knows everything, bro. Like he's coming from the Patriots. The Patriots had so much success. We can't necessarily take nothing from him because he was a part of it. But how much did you actually do while you were there? Like, let's
Right.
be honest.
Hey,
How much did you actually do? You got one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, one of the greatest head coaches of all time. What did you do to
hey.
affect the game?
Keep Tom Brady there for 20 years.
Right.
That's
I mean,
all
he
he
was going to do
did.
that regardless. So it didn't,
Right.
it didn't matter who the G. Oh no, I'm Tom Brady. I'm staying here for Nick. Get out of here, bro.
So,
What? So what did you do to make
hey,
us so thirsty and want to go get him to where
Right.
we got in trouble for
be,
trying to go get him?
what is the thing? And which is what a lot of teams make mistakes, when it comes to coaching, getting GM, or even, player personnel, anybody in the front office. you try to grab people from successful organizations,
Mm-hmm.
and you try to implement that success in your organization. So that's why you see so many coaches from New England getting
Right.
hired, getting given opportunity. I mean, we can go down the list. We can go
They
down.
all
What's the
fail.
dude? What's the dude from that was end up being the Notre Dame head coach? What's his name?
Charlie Weiss
Charlie Weiss,
failed.
Romeo Crennel,
Failed.
doggone what's
Oh
the
boy,
coach for the Raiders?
Josh McDaniels
Josh
failed.
McDaniels.
oh boy, that went to Detroit at first.
Uh,
Patch. Dan. Patch or something.
Something I don't know.
no,
Yeah,
no.
he failed.
Hold on, the one that went to Detroit.
Then
You
when
know what?
Detroit came back and now he's an OC in New England.
Yeah, he
He's a
back in.
defensive coach
Oh, you
for
talking about
years.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
So last name starts with Patrick, something like that.
Yeah,
Patrick, something like that.
not Matt
Patricia.
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 Matt Patricia.
Matt
Yeah,
Patricia.
Matt Patricia.
I was close.
And he was close. Yeah, Pat. So you got Matt Patricia. I mean, we talked about Cornell, Bill O'Brien, doggone Gerard Mayo, who's going to eventually be a head coach, Brian Flores. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. Eric Mangini.
Yep.
Just keep on naming the coaches that have gotten opportunities from New England, because New England has been, the ultimate franchise success-wise in the NFL for the past 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
So you look at that, man, it's like you can't help but try to poach. Look how many GMs have been brought on teams, from the New England front office.
Right.
Look how many, assistant coaches. Look how many, personnel scouts that have been poached from New England on around the NFL. So I mean, the thirst is just for New England personnel, period, because of the success. Now you're not going to see as many people trying to poach coaches from there anymore because they haven't been successful. Yeah, they made the playoffs last year, but they're not going to make the playoffs this year. Go ahead.
But there's one tree that's been very successful though, and it's a homeboy of ours. He was drafted us. He got hurt by us. It was a heart and soul of our defense for a long time. He's on that tree.
Are you talking about the Kubiak tree?
The Kubiak tree and the Kyle Shanahan tree. Can we have Big 59 come back downtown?
Hey, y'all can talk about that, but
DeMeco Ryans, we can't talk about DeMeco Ryans being head coach.
Man, I don't know, bro. To be honest, man, that's just more of a I don't want to cap this man as saying that he'll only be good as a DC. I don't want to say that, man. But
okay, listen, okay. Here we go. Everybody keeps saying that Tua and Bryce Young has similar games, right? Same kind of build, same kind of arm strength. DeMeco Ryans gonna bring an offensive coaching from that same tree. Wouldn't you want that for Bryce Young?
This is the thing. Do we know that?
Most likely, because that's what all the coaches do.
This is the thing. Everybody tries to put pieces together, assuming that they're going to do this and they're going to do that, and who they're going to bring on as coaches. You never know.
Here's my question: the boy in Denver, wasn't he on the Kubiak tree, the Shanahan tree?
Who, Hackett?
Yeah.
I don't.
Because he getting fired. We all know he getting fired. Why he can't be OC for us?
Man, hell no.
What if DeMeco say, "Hey, you know what, Pep, run it back"?
He ain't gonna say. Nobody gonna say run back to Pep. Nobody's saying that crap.
See,
now and we talk. So let's go into depth on Pep. We talk about coaches getting opportunities and everything like that. Pep Hamilton has got his opportunities. As much as people respect him and like him and everything like that, Pep Hamilton has had 2 full opportunities to be an offensive coordinator and has been, and really going to be fired both times.
Right. Crash and burn.
If he didn't have Andrew Luck and, the crazy team that they had in Indianapolis, do you think Pep Hamilton would be as successful?
Nope.
No,
Because to me, honestly, when you look at the numbers and you look at the stats and everything like that, the numbers don't impress you.
No.
It's just that during that day and age in football, a quarterback throwing for 3,000-4,000 yards was just like amazing.
Right.
And that was just 15 years ago or 10 years ago when that happened. So back then it looked amazing, but it necessarily wasn't all that great.
And Justin Herbert didn't fight to keep him as
No.
his quarterback coach or OC when they
Right.
let go.
He didn't push Anthony Lynn to make Pep the OC.
Right. And when Lynn got fired, he didn't say, "Oh man, we got to keep Pep."
Yeah, because I need and he didn't do no Texan shit and say I got to keep the guy who's the quarterback coach to keep continuity with my quarterback.
Right.
So, I mean, we talking about the head coach, we talking about that, but Bishop, you want to give your take, you want to go ahead and give your theory and your thought process of what the Houston Texans have done and what they should have done.
I think in this situation here, based off of the gameplay, based off of Lovey's interviews, he's done. He's done. It's no way we run it back with Lovey. It's no way in hell we run it back with Lovey. I do want to say that the narrative that I'm trying to push is Tim Kelly should have been the head coach. Instead of picking up Cully, as soon as we let go of Bill O'Brien, we should have gone ahead and just elevated Tim Kelly and let him do his thing. Now, if he would have did well, you know what I'm saying, we got our coach, right? But if he would have did terrible, we would have been able to fire his ass as quick as possible. So we wouldn't have been in this rotation that we're in with black coaches. Now, you saw how the media played us when we hired Cully and fired Cully. Now we got to do this all over again. So it's just for me, I feel like Tim Kelly probably would have led the team a little bit better. Trying to introduce new coaching staffs and all that type of stuff for dudes that they're not going to be here long, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Just stick with what you got, run with Tim Kelly, and once that experience ended, move on from his ass. It would have been so much easier.
All right, so my comeback for this is I agree with only one aspect of the situation. It'd have been easier to fire him this year because the reports out of camp and NFL Network and all that stuff is nobody wanted the job the first year. They couldn't figure out who they wanted to coach this year. So not having a good coaching situation search and candidates for the last 2 years, it'd been easier to fire Tim Kelly and just move forward. And he probably was a better candidate to keep Deshaun Watson here. And hopefully that changed the mindset of what's going situation going here. But that's the only way I see your theory being a good theory. But hell no to any kind of Tim Kelly coaching situation. He couldn't coach the offense when he was an offense coordinator. He couldn't get this offense to be rolling 3-4 games in a row. Jules. I didn't want any part of Bill O'Brien. That's just me. I'm a Bill O'Brien hater. I was a hater. The day they say they're gonna draft him or sign him to be head coach of Texans, I never liked Bill O'Brien.
Jules.
So anything was to touch Bill O'Brien, I had to go.
Let's say this: has the offense been better since he left?
I mean, you got Davis Mills playing. You have Tyrone Taylor playing. You just don't have nothing on the offense.
I asked you a legit question: has the offense been better since Tim Kelly left?
Tim Kelly had Deshaun Watson. He made everything look better.
No problem, sir. You're not answering the question. I'm sorry. Because you know what? If Tim Kelly probably would have stayed, you probably could, like AD said, you probably would have been able to keep Deshaun. It would have been a far stretch trying to keep him, but still, all I'm saying is,
I agree that it'd be a lot smoother to fire him 2 years from now.
Let's say this. Looking at Pep, what has Pep done better than Tim Kelly?
Nothing. So
where's Tim Kelly right now?
Tim Kelly is in Tennessee, right?
Mm-hmm.
as a backup offensive coordinator.
Hold on. Minnesota won this game. I didn't realize that Minnesota was down 33 to
Bro,
nothing.
that
It
game
was
is crazy. That game is
33
crazy.
to nothing. The largest comeback in NFL history just happened today. But going into the Tim Kelly thing, man, I mean, hey, the same situation, everything could have changed, but I think that the Deshaun Watson thing, he would have been gone regardless.
right.
Regardless of if Tim Kelly was there or whatever, Deshaun Watson was out the door. That whole 24 lawsuits, that would have just
Yeah.
killed it and nipped it in the bud anyway. But I mean, the same thing you talking about with Tim Kelly is what they could have done with just keep David Culley this year.
Right.
That's true.
Which is what I always said was the plan from the get-go, was to have Cleveland and Baltimore playing.
So that's why I said if we don't have any kind of way of getting his organization on the right path, if Nick can't do it, Nick got to go next year. I say you can't fire him this year, but next year, if your coaching staff come in and it's another 4 or 5 month survey, like last year, last 2 years you were the first two organizations to fire coaches, but you're the last organization to hire a coach. That doesn't make sound decisions. How do you make? How are you the first one to fire a coach, but then you the last one to hire a coach?
Can we give him an excuse saying that the team just played bad, you don't have a quarterback, and all that type of shit?
For Lovey?
Yeah, no, it's for Lovey as well as for the GM.
No,
like the GM, like let's say this: is it last year's draft was his first real draft?
Right.
So when has the GM only just had one draft?
Like I said, my biggest thing about Nick Casterio is and I mean, I ain't gonna fight about this one. When your first pick is your quarterback, that all and it's Mills. That's all I gotta say about your suggestion. I don't care. I don't care.
We were in a situation where we needed a quarterback, though. I mean,
let's be honest, man. At that point in time in the draft, based on stuff, information, everything coming into the draft, if you wanted to take a quarterback, you needed to take a quarterback then. And to be honest, at that point in time, Davis Mills was the highest rated quarterback or highest rated player at that point at number 67.
But what
based
is that?
on
intel, because you can
incomplete intel.
What is the thing? You can have revisionist history and go back and say, well, such and such, look what he turned out to be. But going into the draft, there was a reason why he was drafted after Davis Mills. There was a reason why he was drafted way down the line. It wasn't because he was just this great a player. It's because the evaluations on that player were either wrong or bad going into the draft.
Once again, like I said earlier, all quarterbacks are always drafted higher than they should be. Yeah. And Mills is one of them. Mills should have never been drafted.
It was a run on quarterbacks anyway, because you look at what Kellen Mond got drafted right before him.
Right, but at least you saw film of Kellen Mond for at least 2 seasons of what he could be.
You saw Kellen Mond for 4 years.
Mm-hmm. Davis Mills only had 11 games.
Yeah. So I mean, hey, they looked at his pro day and went off of potential, which is probably why Anthony Richardson gonna be a top 5 pick. He gonna go in the pro day and throw the ball 75 yards. Gonna run a 4.40 40 at 245 pounds, and everybody gonna go wild. And he's gonna be a top 5 pick.
And my quarterback Will Levis is gonna throw the ball off the roof, and he's gonna be a top 5 pick too, because they all evaluate quarterbacks every time.
Will Levis threw a ball 60 yards flat-footed. He just threw it 60 yards.
Look, I don't get off my quarterback. Okay, I like Will Levis. I like him because he can play the position.
That's that Allen talk right there. That's that Allen talk. That's that Allen talk. And he ain't afraid to run it too. Hey. I need that.
Hey, we gonna have a lot of talk about the draft. I can't wait to have the episodes where we break down these quarterback prospects and we watch these clips on YouTube and we live commentary. it's gonna be an interesting time, man. This off season, so we just need to be prepared, man. But with that being said, we talked about all in agreement that Pep and Lovey got to go.
Got to go.
Got to
Gotta
go. That's just commentary from BOP. There may be other people that have different mindsets and different things like that. They may all want to run all that shit back. So we never know.
Bring back Mills too.
So with that being said, man, we're gonna end this episode. But before we go, I need Bishop, man, go ahead and put out to the world where they can follow you and find you, on social media, man.
Yeah, man. Just follow me on Twitter, NIG, well, Energy Trey. So INNAGTREY. Yeah, just follow me on Twitter. Talk some shit. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So just want everybody to know, go ahead and follow them. It's right there at the bottom of the ticker. Go ahead and follow Black on 713 and follow me and Jules and even C Roy's Twitter. Go ahead and like, share, and subscribe on the YouTube page. We've been gaining followers. We've been growing little by little. Eventually we're gonna be on Spotify. So just be prepared for that. We're working on that. So a lot of things, big things coming, a lot of special episodes coming. Y'all just go ahead and keep on, chugging along with us, man. And we getting through this season and we gonna make it. We gonna come out on the other end, man, a lot better, man. But I want to thank Bishop for joining us this episode, man. Thank you, Jules, for coming in. As always, it's your boy AD. We signing off on another episode of BLP. I'll let you next time. Peace.